welcome back to part 8 of 10 of the new Technician Trials. This stage took me the longest to clear not because it was difficult, but because of the RNG involved in part 2. Having more than half of your party put to sleep is not very enjoyable at all. Aside from that, shadows are not that difficult to deal with, but you may need to have your characters properly built to survive certain attacks. For the first part, we'll be needing Blast and Nuke coverage. We will not be using Psy here, even though Riddle is a good option as not everyone has access to her. Alternatives to Yuki will be Closer, Vino will be Queen, and lastly Mona with Marion. If you have those characters, you can make this stage drastically easier. Otherwise, follow along and suffer with me. You should know Wind's Road by now, so we won't talk about it anymore, and let's move on to Wonder. We'll be using the Ex Machina to boost blast damage as it's a little bit lacking. However, if you have a high Reforged Glimmer like me, it is a much better option. As for the personas, Dominion will be dealing blast damage, Fishermonton for nuke damage, and Norn for his shield highlight. You'll see why we need it later. If you have Melchizedek, you can replace Dominion with him. Moving on to part 2, Key will be our fire damage dealer. We want to focus on single target damage here. If we do too much AoE damage, we might not get enough points for a 3-star. Kettle will serve as our healer as well as occasional down point removal with his skill 1. Lastly, Soy for ice coverage, down point removal, taunt, and extra HP. The extra HP and taunt is very useful as even with the freeze debuffs, the enemy can still potentially one-shot your characters. Kutawa is used here for weakness damage boost and defense down. However, Okyang can be used instead. As for Wonder, Orochi for ice damage as well as freeze application, Bahomet in case we need to deal fire damage, and lastly Alice to finish off the enemies. As the teams we're using in both parts are not very good damage dealers, we'll need to rely on Alice to close out the fight once we hit the point threshold for a 3-star. With introductions out of the way, let's get into it. With Wind in the team, you should be able to perform an all-out attack every turn, making quick work of part 1. As mentioned earlier, you'll need your characters to be properly built as the first wave of enemy attacks can kill you if you do not have enough HP. Using all-in to increase defense is an option, however it will cause you to use up more actions in part 1. Do not use your highlight immediately in turn 2, save it for Norn's highlight. Without a lucky dodge, Abaddon's single target will most likely kill you if it hits anyone other than Yuki. Use Yuki's skill 3 to grant your party a big shield and damage bonus. If Yuki's shield and Norn's highlight is still not enough for you to survive, you can reset the run until Vino is able to inflict Abaddon with freeze. Pop Norn's highlight and pray that you are able to survive. If you do, the rest of part 1 will be pretty simple. Good luck and see you in part 2. Welcome to part 2. Start off the fight by using Soy's skill tree for the taunt and extra HP. Both enemies hit hard and can kill you if your HP is not high enough. Hopefully the shadows target Soy, or else it might be a bit rough. Orochi is extremely helpful as he is able to provide an AoE freeze debuff on turn 2 with his unique skill. Make sure to use it. Sneak in as much damage as you can. Once you hit the required points of 4.9 million, you can proceed to use Alice to insta-kill the enemies, ending the fight. With that, good luck with your clears, and thank you for watching.